but I won't tell him. We'll see how well he does. Nah, he's really good at this stuff. Nothing phases this man. Lewis, how are you, my friend? Good to see you.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Here we go. All right, Herms brings the heat now.
Oh, don't get me started. I can have some fun stuff, but wow, we've got a lot of exciting stuff. I'm very excited about today. I'm really excited about a special announcement we have that we're going to do Thursday, but we're going to announce the announcement. It's going to be a lot of fun. Robert, so good to be here with you today. Let's get into it.
You know what happens when you do that, Lewis? I'm going to announce the announcement. Then my text messages, I get flooded with, what is it? What is it? What is it? How come you know? How come Lewis won't tell us?
I know. Oh, trust me, I know. I've already been having those text messages.
Yep, we're getting those conversations going early. Yes, so thank you to everyone who watched our show yesterday. We replayed a documentary that Lewis did. Lewis, I think it was about 3 years ago. It looked like it was about 3 years old, that documentary.
Yeah, it was little over 3 years ago. That's right.
And it's called Watch the Water. And if you have not seen it, go back and watch yesterday's show again, because it's on there, and really, really good to get a refresher on this. I guess it's an element called deuterium, right?
Yeah, it's deuterium is an isotope that actually is hidden. It attaches itself to a hydrogen molecule.
Right.
So a lot of people didn't even know about it until they discovered it, and they use it for other reasons too. Just the long story short, and you really should watch this film. I'm very proud of it. It's had 2.5 million views at least worldwide, not on my channel, 32 times.
Wow.
I was like, that's what we found. We found it on 32 different websites, right? Hey, at ours, that would be 33. Uh-oh, there's that number.
Yep.
So the interesting thing, though, is it is something that's so much more detrimental than fluoride. I'm to the point now, not 3 years ago, to the point now, though, I really believe that all this fervor over fluoride publicly is now a deep state cover-up of deuterium.
Ooh.
It's don't watch the left hand, watch the right hand.
Yeah.
Not saying fluoride's not bad, but if they get all of our focus on fluoride, we're completely ignoring something that is much, much worse. So yeah, I would definitely go watch this, folks, if you haven't seen it. It's been deleted all over the place. This is the second time we posted it on Rumble, so go to the most recent one. It's 3 years ago, but it's not out of date at all. Except somebody mentioned that I mentioned Q clearance is the top clearance, and now we learned in the last few years that there's actually a clearance or two above that. Other than that, it's pretty relevant. So it's called Deuterium, Trump, and Q. I believe it's called Watch the Water, Deuterium, Trump, and Q. So I connect all three together, Deuterium, Trump, and Q. And very, very proud of this one. It's only about 25 minutes long, I think. So right. You guys should check it out.
Absolutely. And we ran it yesterday, but it's also on ScrewBigGov. So if you go over to, where is your website here? I don't even see it. Oh yeah, here it is, screwbiggov.com. You will find a button there where it says Groundbreaking Films by Lewis Herms, and you'll find a link to it directly if you don't want to watch yesterday's show, but it's also on yesterday's show. And also easy to find Lewis on social media. The social media button's there, which makes it easy to locate him, because there are a lot of copycat accounts out there. It seems like new ones pop up all the time. I get messages, hey, this is Lewis, thank you for following my channel. Lewis isn't writing that, you know what I mean? It's like, we know. So yeah, just ignore a lot of those personal messages. Neither I nor Lewis will be reaching out to you on Telegram personally. If you're getting those, just delete them, report them as spam, because they're not us whatsoever. Speaking of Telegram.
Let me get back to that, Robert,
yes.
really quick.
Okay.
So what just happened last week is somebody very special got one of those messages now on X. And so there's a cloned account on X that reached out to this person, and she actually donated money to that fake person. This happens a lot. So guys, be very, very careful. I will never, if I DM you, it's going to be for a specific reason like to interview you or something like that. You're not going to get a DM from me most likely. So just ignore those. And if ever I'm asking for money, you better track me down directly, because it's 99.999% it is not me.
Yeah.
That's not what I do. So be very careful. This lady is very, very sweet, and she donated, and it's happened before. Several times I had somebody come at a truth tour, and she wouldn't tell me the amount, but based on the conversations and asking questions, we figure. So just do your due diligence, guys, and feel free, though, if you know it's fake, toy with them. Make it so their time is wasted for sure, and then report them.
Good advice, Lewis, and I'm here on Telegram. You can find me at Renegade Media on Telegram, and again, we don't send DMs and we don't ask for money in that way, so not our thing. You can email me too at robert@renegademedia.tv. I know a lot of you do, and thank you for those emails. Wow, all right, lots going on today.
Yeah, there's going to be a big announcement on ScrewBigGov, by the way. ScrewGov, that whole website is going to change, and we're so excited. In fact, literally 5 minutes before this program started, I had to hang up with Lisa Richards, because we're talking about website redesign. The stuff that we have coming is going to blow you away, and we're going to announce an announcement later in this show that will be announced.
We're going to announce the fact that there'll be an announcement that will announce something that you really want to find. I'm confused.
Yeah, well, forget about it.
Oh, brother. Well, one guy well, let me do this first, because I think this is kind of telling. This popped up in my feed today. Kind of interested. 1964, the minimum wage, that's the year I was born, was 5.90% silver quarters, $1.25. In 2021, 5.90% silver quarters have a melt value of $23.34, which is a little bit over minimum wage right now. We don't need minimum wages. We need sound money. Interesting if that's true.
It is. I believe. Check this out. So I can tell you, when I was in let me get this straight, 77, I believe, somewhere around there, silver started going through the roof. Well, post 64 is when they started adding everything to quarters. Actually, and dimes and 50 cents and dollars, all of them. They universally started adding different materials in there. So what happened is, you would go into, and this sounds crazy, you would walk into a store, and virtually every store had a cardboard sign that we will buy your pre-1964 quarters, 50 cents, dollars, and from you. We'll purchase them from you right here, right now. And they give a price. I don't know what your price was there, but in 77, I think they were paying for like $2.50 for a quarter.
Wow.
Like 10 times the face value. Very smart of them, because they were probably reselling it for $3 or $4, or getting $3 or $4 out of it. But people were running in to liquor stores, grocery stores, restaurants. I don't know if anybody remembers this. This was wild. And it went on for about a year, I believe, and it was maddening. It was crazy. But they were always, we'll buy 64 and before. Well, you just say the reason why, because that's when they actually had a content of silver in them.
Yeah. Fabulous. Well, we talk silver and gold a lot with our buddy Matt. Matt was on our show last week. MidasGoldGroup.com. You can reach Matt at 480-725-0536. If you've got questions about investing in silver, investing in gold, certainly American Eagles, he is the man to speak with. He's very honest, and we find that he's got a lot of answers, and he'll spend more time on the phone with you. He's not trying to make a sale. He's trying to get you educated, which I think is really phenomenal. So he's a really good guy, and we've had him on the show, and we'll have him back again. So MidasGoldGroup.com, he is the sponsor of our show. It makes this show possible for us to bring it to you. Notice we don't ask you to donate. We don't have the show behind a paywall.
Nope. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
And he will most likely, you call him, he'll send a George magazine to you also, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. He wants you to make the right decision rather than making a commission. He's not really interested so much in that. He wants you to feel confident and feel secure in your decision that you've made. So have a conversation with him. Ask him all the questions you've got about this, and he'll be happy to answer as well. All right, we had a wow story this morning when we woke up. Both of us kind of ran into this pretty quickly, and it was like, what are you talking about here? So it turns out the Secret Service has met with local jail officials to discuss preparations for President Trump to go behind bars. So I've got the story here, and I've got multiple sources of it, so it's not just Gateway Pundit. It starts off with Gateway Pundit, but there's more. Trump has been charged with 34 felony falsification of business records. He was penalized for every payment he allegedly made to his former lawyer and pathological liar Michael Cohen regarding Cohen paying off Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. The prosecution has not proven Trump committed any of these crimes or even had an affair. He will likely be found guilty anyway, given the rigged jury. That's an opinion from Gateway Pundit. We're going to see there's someone else who has a different opinion here. Now we learn the Secret Service officials have officially met with jailhouse officials to prepare for President Trump to go to prison. Okay. This is according to CBS News. A New York corrections source made the revelation. As a former president, Donald Trump is entitled to Secret Service protection for his entire life, even if he's sentenced to jail. Now, this is interesting because, Lewis, I think you and I made mention of the fact that he's actually not using Secret Service. He has his own private protection force. I don't know. CBS predicts that Trump could serve time at Rikers Island. Alvin Bragg didn't explain exactly what exactly he wanted to convict Donald Trump of in the charging documents. Bragg has still not clearly stated the predicate crimes. But it doesn't matter. The court is ready to find Trump guilty and send him to prison. Judge Merchan made it easy for the jury to convict Trump when he sided with Bragg's prosecutors and ruled the jury does not need to unanimously agree on the predicate crime that Trump committed. Huh? Not everyone has to agree to call him guilty?
Yeah, let's just change the rules. We don't need a constitution anyways.
Merchant tells the jurors that nothing the lawyers said is evidence. Huh? And nothing said during the summations is evidence. So disregard the whole trial, just whatever you feel. If you feel he's guilty, just say he's guilty and we'll move on.
Yeah. This is the new trial. The new jury system is an opinion poll.
Yeah, it's an opinion poll, really. It just feels like, and of course, you're not going to get an impartial jury in New York City. That's for sure. Merchant says, you and you alone are the judges of the facts of this case. Merchant says, I am responsible for explaining the law. That's laughable. Not the lawyers. Your sworn duty as jurors is to follow my instructions on the law, as you promised me that you would. So the jurors are going to be working tomorrow and Wednesday. Normally they have Wednesday off, but they'll be deliberating because the closing arguments should finish today.
All right. So
let's dig in.
A judge is supposed to be unbiased, number one, right? When you're reading his statements, there's a lot of me's there.
Yep.
I said me, do this because me. I said you do this because I. That should tell you everything. Mm-hmm. The judge is supposed to be completely unbiased. Let's backtrack to the Secret Service thing. Maybe we misunderstood. I don't believe ever that I've said that Trump doesn't have Secret Service. I do believe he has a hybrid of Secret Service and his own personal Secret Service, or his own personal security, for sure. I also believe the size of his, how do we say it? The size of his motorcades and his security should be an indication that he probably is CIC, which would be Commander-in-Chief.
Right.
Now, how does that coincide? Lewis, if he's CIC, how could he possibly go to jail? Why would the Secret Service be checking it out? Well, okay, let's step
deep
back.
Breath.
If there's yes, deep breath.
Yep.
If there's a plan, we are only speculating based on comms that we're seeing and things that we're seeing. The reality is, you think his Secret Service is going to know there's a plan? Hell no. So they have to do their due diligence. So if there looks like there's a possibility that the guy that they're supposed to protect can go to jail, they need to preemptively check that out. So that is a normal, I would think that would be a normal thing that they're their whole security service and their protocol would do. I don't think that's out of the realm.
Right.
So it's not shocking. So for people that believe there's a plan, you can still see how the Secret Service are still going to have to do their due diligence. They're not mutually exclusive from each other. And I believe that's the cliff that we tend to jump off because we go, it's all or nothing. It's all black and white. Just remember, all the Masonic BS that we've been putting up with for centuries is black and white. They need you to think black and white. They've got these two boxes and they need you to be in one. It's constant. I'm going to go off topic here, but kind of relation to what I just said because it's very interesting. I watched a video today, and it was a lady just happened to be she's just scrolling through Facebook, I believe it was, and she was scrolling through, and she came onto something where a lady was complaining that her boyfriend's golfing, said he'd be home a half hour ago, and he's not, and then she kept posting, now it's another half, blah 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 blah, and she started reading the comments, and she noticed all the comments were for the female, saying, "Oh my God, he's probably cheating. He's this, he's that, blah 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 blah."
I've got that video queued. It was for later in the show, but if you want me to play it now,
you
I can
have
play
it
now.
queued.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I didn't even know I sent it to you.
Yeah. Want me to play it?
So let's play that. Thank you, because
Okay.
I think we can comment on this. It relates to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I sent that video to you this morning
Mm-hmm.
because I think this can be one of the biggest cabal tools that has gone unnoticed to us. And how hard is it it's hard enough to combat the cabal with what we know, but it's really hard to combat them with what we don't know.
Yeah.
And I want everybody to take this dramatic pause for a second. I want you just to think of the ramifications of having social media commentary divided into two sections.
Mm-hmm.
That is the end for us if we don't see this. Because what happens is perception is reality. And if we're perceiving things in a certain way constantly, and other people are perceiving it in another way constantly, you can't bridge that divide. We really need to pay attention to this. This is the height of manipulation in my opinion, with all the investigation and everything we've done. This manipulation is probably close to the top or is actually the worst. So do not take that young lady's video lightly. We need to pay attention. And just because you see 90 comments in a row going into one direction that you happen to agree with, maybe it's time to take a deep breath and go, am I being manipulated here? Or is there something they're not trying to show me? This is huge. So let's relate it back to the story we're telling. The division is so high, and this is what the Masons and this whole construct thrive on, right? So this is all they care about. I am getting to the point where if let's say the liberal people against Trump get to 55, 60%, that they literally would start to support Trump just to get him to 50-50, so we're completely divided. But then they'll still find a way to keep him out of office. That's the way that this deep state is working. So we really need to pay attention to this. Division is everything for them, which has a lot to do with our announcement on Thursday. Ooh, look at the way I did that.
Yeah, you weave that in there. Well, there's a fellow who is doing exactly that, trying to figure out what these ephemeral results are based on what Google was doing, is going back to 2016. So if you look up something in Google and I look up something in Google, we're going to get different results because the algorithm is based on your account and based on your activity and based on the things you're doing, right? So what'll end up happening is that will change, and you'll get different results than I get. I won't get the same results that you do. And it's hard to figure it because you can go back in and do it again, and you could do it again, and it'll be different each time, right? And so what he's trying to do is trying to prove that Google is manipulating the results. And you're seeing that obviously there, but you're also seeing it in social media. You're seeing it in Facebook. And this word called algorithm, you guys got to learn this. I mean, I know it's a technical word, but you've really got to learn it because this is the hidden thing where they can get away with everything, and you can't even track it down because there's no record, there's no breadcrumb, there's no going back. It's in the moment, and then it's gone. It will never repeat. Right?
Totally agree with you, Robert. It's the algorithms, learning about what an algorithm is. It's another way for modern day manipulation. That's really what it is. And they can manipulate anything they want so old school, let's just go back. Old school, before computers and anything, the way they would do data is it's called data point access. And what they would do is they would create data points for everybody. And they can manipulate data and show you data in a certain angle with certain percentages that work for you. And you're like, oh, I'm going to get behind that completely. When the true medium data shows completely a different story. That's how they manipulated free computers. Imagine how sophisticated they are now, right?
It's an entire science that we have no idea how it works. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And we have to be extraordinarily careful about this because the goal is, and we have to think about this. I think they have two goals. They have two goals: division, right? And assimilation. Oh, shit. Did he say that word? I did. Why assimilation? Because what these baddies are trying to do is they're going to only feed you things you agree with. Think about that.
Yep.
Think about a society where you only see, hear, and feel what you agree with. Then they can manipulate you completely because they can send you in any direction they want to send you in, and they get you to assimilate as a society. See, we're trying to work on collective consciousness here in a way that will open your mind and expand your thought, your love, and your vibration. The baddies work on a collective consciousness to control your thoughts and get you going in their direction.
Yep.
Algorithms is a huge way that they do this. Thank you, Robert Imbrielli, for saying that.
Yeah, and I looked at my X feed to Twitter, right? And I was in there for a while before Elon took over, and a lot of Democrat stuff. I wasn't really playing in there, not spending a lot of time. A lot of junk I just didn't want to see. And when Elon took over, I started to spend more time in there. Now I see nothing from the left. Nothing. It's all right side, all our side. That's it. And I'm like, well, that's the algorithm because I trained it based on what I stopped on, what videos I watched, what things I reshared, what things I downloaded, all that kind of thing. And it does. And every one of us has an algorithm footprint. You say, really, how can they do that? Well, they can do it.
So on and so forth. I'm like, oh, Lord, if those algorithms start going that direction, I'm going to be screwed.
Go on Amazon, look up bikinis, and then watch what happens to your Facebook feed. Bikini, bikini, bikini. Like, it's crazy. But I was just buying a gift for my wife,
Sure you were, Robert.
And yeah, that's the worst thing around the holidays too, because you'll go look for a gift, and then all of a sudden all the ads pop up, and she's looking over. Hey, what's that? Hey, what's that? I really like that. Yeah, I know. I bought it for you already.
Yeah. As a marketer, it's called retarget marketing, which I really like. Actually, I think it's genius as a marketer. Right, but when it gets used for other things than marketing too, which it does, because here's the thing, and here's what we need to know. And Facebook Meta really changed this. One of the reasons is Facebook really figured out how to manipulate the algorithms. Well, CIA, DARPA, Facebook, right? Let's just talk about it for real. So DARPA, CIA figured out how to manipulate the algorithm within social media, and they used it under the guise, and they still do. They use it under the guise of marketing. We just want to be able to send you in the right directions for things that you like.
We want to show you ads that you'll respond to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're so sweet. How helpful are they? but that's not truly what they're doing, and we're seeing proof of it time after time. So this type of exposure must get out there. So thank you for playing that video and talking about algorithms, because it is so important.
Now that we're way off track from where we started.
Hey, what the hell? That's what SBG News and Views is all about.
That's right. Here's Lara Trump outside of the... This is Eric Trump.
And simple.
Political case, no question. Well, there's good news, too. This was breaking about an hour before we went here. Members of the media from the hush money case courtroom believe the prosecutors have lost the vote of at least half the jurors. Interesting, huh? So you're left with now, which way is this going to go? Well, it depends on who you listen to, right?
I agree.
What's your gut feeling on this? Where do you think it goes? Do you think he gets convicted here? There's a whole lot of things that happen once they get that conviction that they've been looking for.
All right. So I'm going to say something that's really going to be weird. If he gets convicted, it's a 100% the planned white hat operation, or gray hat, as like I call it. If he gets convicted,
right?
People are going to say exactly the opposite. There's not. They're not going to get enough jurors to buy in to this BS, because in America, even in a bad jury, you don't generally get wholesale bad decisions. You get people that want to honor the process and so on and so forth. So we'll see. I believe if there's a conviction, don't get upset, Trumpers. That's a great thing if there's a conviction.
Yeah. Well, it probably won't be the real Trump anyway. That would go to jail. Right.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I think that's an absolute great thing if there's a conviction. People are thinking, what, are you crazy? Oh, this is going to go viral. Lewis says it's great if Trump's convicted. Yeah, it is, because that's the end all be all for the deep state. There's no getting out of this corruption if they can convict Trump on this, the worst. Look at all the indictments and all the trials and everything he's gone through.
This is the
Nothing
weakest
has
one.
been weaker than this one.
Yep.
Nothing has been weaker than this one. You know what I mean? In fact, they should all go to jail just for trying to put this charade on. So if he gets convicted on this, I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to lose faith in the human spirit, like many people will start saying. I've lost faith in the human spirit. No, that's the plan right there. That would be so obvious. Oh my God, I look like King Tut right now. That's going to go viral too.
Oh no.
So, anyways, I think if it happens, so I can't predict what's going to happen because I don't know the people, I don't know the plan, I don't know the jurors. This is the most highly manipulated case in the history of the world. Well, I won't say the world. I'm sure they're in, Genghis Khan and things like that. Those are probably pretty bad. But let's just say in the United States, according to our fair system, quote unquote, this has got to be the most manipulated trial that there's ever been. So if the jurors can't see through that, I would be shocked. So if it's a real jury, this is not part of the plan, I say there's no conviction whatsoever. If he is convicted, that's actually, I'm going to go, wow, look at that. That's proof right there. Yeah. But well, I'm kind of wacky, so don't mind me.
There's the old theory too that we've been talking about for some time now. It's like if they get the conviction, what happens? He doesn't get the nomination. The RNC convention's coming up. It's a month away. People are saying, hey, the timing is a little conspicuous about this. And then what happens at the RNC? Who do they nominate?
Yeah, exactly. Well, but legally, they can still nominate Trump. But what they'll do is they'll use this. But you have to also remember who's in the background. Hiding in the background at Fox News is Paul Ryan.
Yeah.
Right. And Paul Ryan is a deep state bad guy. Mm-hmm. Just so everybody, if you don't, you've heard it here first. I'm joking. But Paul Ryan is a deep state bad guy. And he's lingering in the background at Fox News. Fox News right now is doing exactly what they did before the controlled opposition. I don't know if the good guys have taken them over. Maybe they have. Maybe they're not controlled opposition anymore. But I do know that Paul Ryan is one of their chief board members, if I'm correct, I should say.
Yep.
And he alone is a never Trumper. And you need to be, and there's already documentations that he was colluding to take Trump out before. We've seen him. You can almost not find him anymore. So I would not be shocked if Fox News is playing the same game, get them all in, get them all in, get them all in. And then when it comes to the nomination, everybody's going to say, all the pundits on Fox, oh, man, we really wanted Trump. Oh, gee, can't do it now because, oh, gee, he's in jail. We can't have a felon in there. Oh, no, they're going to play that game. So be very careful if you're still starting to think Fox is good. Now, maybe they are. I think Elon's doing a good job, but it's not the original Elon. Oh, my God. There's people that are going to get upset with me with that. There's like great example. David Icke. I like you, David Icke. I do. I like what you brought to the table, right? But you're talking about don't trust Trump and don't trust Elon right now. Okay? I get why you don't want to trust Trump for sure. And you yourself don't believe there's another plan. Well, based on all your history, I get why David Icke could believe that. Based on his history and all the evilness that he's seen firsthand and has disclosed, I understand his take on that, right? And I would understand your take on Elon Musk too. I mean, you got the Neuralink, you got this, and so on and so forth. But whoa, freeze, dude, that's not Elon number one. So if you're truly thinking that's the same Elon, David, now we have a completely different discussion to have, because that's not Elon 1, that's Elon 2.0. So the question is, who is Elon 2.0 taking his direction from? Maybe there is a plan. I would suggest that we kind of have 1 foot in and 1 foot out on this, and I think I'm all in on Trump. But at the same time, I've said many times, I'll be the first one to ask him questions if he's back in office officially and say, dude, and you know what? I have a right to, because we, the people, have the right to.
Right.
And I believe President Trump would respect that.
Yep. We have been wanting and looking forward to things accelerating. And we're there. We're certainly into that. And people say, oh, it's coming. No, it's that kind of year now. It's going to go up and down from here. We'll have, more news, less news. We'll have events happening that may be surprising. And I keep telling Lewis this. It says, we think we're on top of everything, but the truth is we have the information we have. We don't have the full picture. And a lot of what we're doing is this piece kind of fits with this piece. So that means there's something in here that could be, we don't know. And I think we're all going to be surprised when more and more of this starts to reveal itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, the RNC thing is kind of interesting because they wouldn't nominate a quote-unquote a felon. So who would they nominate? And, I had said, hey, Nikki Haley only suspended her campaign, didn't end it. So does that mean she can reactivate it if the RNC says, hey, we need a new candidate?
Officially, she can. In fact, suspending it, she can't take the money out of the coffers either.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, huh?
Go figure.
Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of people are saying that Trump's going to make her VP. She feels as deep state as there is to me, so I don't know about that one.
Well, she's on the war side. She likes war. She's in with the defense contractors, and that's her world. And
right.
Yeah. So
wasn't she connected to the WEF as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wake up, people.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that day, Lewis, where we're going to say, okay, we know the whole story. Let's start at the beginning. We're going to go 6 hours, and we're going to go through it, frame by frame, and we're going to tell you everything that we've learned.
Well, I guarantee you, when we know the whole story, or even 90%, that's when I will start releasing my series on the True Awakening.
Awesome.
What did he just say?
Awesome. Oh, our buddy Jack Smith got a little bit of a slap down this morning. Did you see this? federal judge denies Jack Smith's request for a gag order against Trump. So this is good. This Aileen Cannon is actually doing some nice things down there. First of all, there's no date for trial anymore. It's been suspended indefinitely. We have no idea how far it's going to go. It'll be interesting. She denied a gag order request submitted by special counsel Jack Smith in former President Donald Trump's classified documents case. Over the weekend, Mr. Smith's team asked Judge Cannon to impose a gag order after President Trump had claimed that recently released discovery documents showed that the FBI agents were armed and search of his Mar-a-Lago property. The FBI last week, however, disputed those claims and said the documents were merely suggested the agents were following bureau rules around search warrants. Did you hear that the reason they told them that is because they were afraid of the kitchen utensils? Could be used as weapons? Yeah. I'm going to fork you! Oh, wait.
What a sideshow. What a sideshow.
The world we live in, I don't know. Every day I wake up and go, what are we going to run into today? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. In our chat, Gulag actually says that Jack's middle name is off. Oh, how dare you, Mr. Gulag, that you say something like that.
Oh, brother. So we just had the Amazon people stop by, and they were here for about 20 minutes. And what the heck are they doing? So I go outside, and guess who they're playing with?
Oh, Thumper?
Mr. Thumper.
Awesome.
He's like, oh, getting scratched. A little over here, maybe a little over here. Wouldn't let her go. Just like, oh, too much fun. Hey, what's the update on good old Reggie? How's he doing?
Reggie's awesome, and today annoying as ever.
Oh,
he has so much energy, and we're trying to train him on his walk. So he walks with Cooper, right? And now, but he tries to.
There's Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper's on the left. So he tries to be the alpha male. So now every time they're going to go for a walk, he goes after Cooper, like, rah! He's like trying to control him. So it's hard to train him out of that. The good news is all that energy that these dogs have, and they're just so healthy, absolutely is the food and nutrition, hands down. Can't even act like it's anything else. It's we have a year of evidence that just blows us away.
Yep.
In our dog family is a whole nother level. They've ascended. Let's just say that.
They really haven't. It's really interesting to see. And we're getting so many stories, too, of how quickly they changed. Now, of course, if you were the Amazon driver, wouldn't you stop and pet that little guy?
Yeah, look at little Thumper.
Look at he's almost 15 now. Best we can get, because he found us. I don't know how old he was when he found us, but yeah, we had him. We're guessing he was maybe a year old when he found us. So yeah, he's really come a long way too, and it's really fascinating to see. And as Kristen mentioned, there's a lot of stories about how these pets rebound so quickly. We're on the Food from Pet Club 24/7. You will find a link in the comments. If you have not yet tried it, please do. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if your pet says, I don't really like this stuff, or you're not seeing much of a difference, send it back. They give you your money back. Not a problem. I don't think you need to send it back. They might just say keep it, and you can get your money back. But it's certainly worth a try.
Yeah, that's not something that's happening either.
No,
so
it's
that's
not.
How great. That's some of the great results. And yes, I did try one of the cookies myself.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I had it tested, and it's a mushroom cookie. So I was seeing trails and swirls going all over the place. No, not really, not that type of mushroom. But
not that kind of mushroom.
I did try the cookie. I figured it is edible for humans, also not recommended.
Absolutely, and they do have cookies for humans. So on the site you'll see cats, dogs, horses, and then humans.
Yes.
Pay attention to the human section. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Just saying. Big C. Bye bye.
Yep.
I'm not.
A lot of stories about that. A lot of stories about people.
There's a reason why it's hidden on the site.
Yep.
Just saying.
They're a pet food store. What are you talking about? No, they don't have anything for people. No. Yeah, they do. Well, Donald Trump is saying something interesting that'll make voters happy. He said he'll give serious consideration to pardoning Julian Assange. What do you think about this one?
That's the one that sent David Icke off, by the way, on Trump. He said if he did it, he could have done it before, blah, 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 blah. And there's a lot that I agree with David Icke on. So, and I have to honor and respect his service over the last 30 or 40 years in disclosures. So don't think anybody that I'm against him. I just think he's blind to what's really going on because he's been through the war so much. He can't possibly believe there's anybody good out there that's working for the good.
Yep.
And so I get it from his perspective.
Yeah.
So is Elon, I'm sorry, is Assange really in a bad situation? Or maybe he's already protected by the good guys and this is part of this plan and he will officially be released when Trump's back in office. Yeah. I think that could possibly be what's going on here.
Yeah. You recognize, too, that Assange didn't actually hack anything. The information was given to him, and he just
reported news.
He reported the news, facts, And he's been in prison now, what is it? It's been, 12 years, 14 years? It's been a long time. Yeah. So, I agree. I think it's time to deal with this situation, and I know the CIA wants to put him away for good because he exposed them. But it's okay. I mean, there's a lot of things Snowden exposed a lot too in the CIA we wouldn't have known about if these guys didn't step up.
Yeah, the momentum we have alone. Just know, guys, if you look at the Trump team and just we the people and what's coming out, people that never have talked before are starting to disclose over and over and over again. It's only going to get better, not worse. It's going to get better. You're going to see more disclosure from high levels. And guys, just take it in. If some actor is now telling you that they have proof that there's peer, it's happening before the information comes out, before their testimonial comes out, before their video comes out. It happens before. It doesn't happen after, because you have cover if you get your information out there and don't tell anybody. You may think you can trust somebody in your close circle. Be very, very careful of that. Very careful. Make sure you only have private conversations that aren't going to go anywhere. Put that whistleblower video together. Get it out there. It will go viral. We will help you go viral. When I say we, I'm talking about all the digital warriors out there. That is your protection. Whistleblowers, if you understand that, you do not have to fear as much as you do about not getting information out. You have a support network of millions of people that will get your information out there. So again, just don't tell anybody before you do it, and you're going to be good to go.
Fabulous advice, my friend, as always. Hey, this popped up in my feed today. The Supreme Court ruled today that Texas SB 4 law is constitutional, which grants Texas the right to detain, arrest, and expel anyone crossing the Texas border illegally. Whew, this is good news. That bill was kind of going back and forth. It was like a hot potato. But I guess now we got a Supreme Court ruling. I guess it's going to go through now.
Here's my question, Robert. Do they even need a bill to do that? Were there not constitutional examples that we could have done this without the bill?
Yeah, if they declare an invasion, the Constitution says they have the right to do it. It's black and white. They don't need a bill. Yeah.
That's my point. Mm-hmm. So, again, is this just more pomp and circumstance? Is this just more diversion? Is this just more, look at what we're doing, let's pat ourselves on the back? The goal with a reformed government is we're trying to reduce the amount of bills and laws and structure and mandates that we have, not increase them, right? As you and I have talked many times, and you're on the same page, virtually everything that you need to be done is already on the books.
Yep.
Right? And I use this example all the time. So many states have laws against texting and driving. All right. There's already a law in the book called distracted driving. You don't need that law.
Right.
That's just another one. You're just paying these attorneys by accepting this stuff. We need to say, no, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But they play on the emotions. Let's use this bill as the texting bill or the texting law, right? It's all BS, guys. You have to understand this is part of the whole cover and game that's being played against us, and we need to wake up to this stuff. So I'm not opposed to this. I'm just asking a fair question. Is there not a way to legally hold them accountable already that's on the books? And I think constitutionally there is.
Yeah, and it's just sort of all the bill does is reaffirm what already exists, and when you start doing that, what you end up is a lot of conflicting laws. So, well, this bill says it's legal, yeah, but that was 20 years ago. And now we've got this bill that says it's illegal. Then there's another bill that says, well, that makes that one illegal, and it's just a mess. And then you sit there and you go, okay, so I'm an American citizen. What's my responsibility? Because you can't go into court and say, well, I didn't know there was a law about this or about that, because ignorance is not a defense, right? So they say. So how do you know all the laws? And how do you know how they interact with? Not even the lawyers know all the laws. So we get to a point where everyone at some point becomes a criminal. And you can take anybody down because all of us are breaking laws we don't even know exist. So it's a mess, and you're right, the only way to fix it is to pull the plug, drain the pool, start all over again. Fresh water. Can't get the algae out, then clean it out.
Agree.
A pool reference. Where did that come from, I wonder? You happen to be a pool guy?
I'm a swim guy.
You're a swim guy. Good for you.
Yes, I like pools. I like warm lakes and warm oceans. I'm not a cold water guy.
In fact, I get that.
It's funny. Many people, I get credited with being very masculine and tough. I think, thank you very much for that. But when it comes to cold water, I'm the biggest pussy on earth. I do.
You're not doing the cold water plunge in the morning at 56 degrees.
Oh, no, I'll do that. Yeah, no, I'll do that. I've done that, actually.
Okay.
No, I used to do it at 6 a.m. every morning out of Bally's in Encino. When I was 19, I would work out. I would do all the stuff, and then I would do the ice plunge. Mm-hmm. So no, I do that, but that's for like medicinal purposes. But for enjoyment, no, I don't like cold water. Not if you call cold water and enjoyment, those are not. I rarely even drink cold water, so I don't want to immerse myself in it.
That's right. I'm not swimming in that. It's too cold.
No, that's not for me. Not for me.
Yeah. Where are we on this list? I changed my. Let's see here. I changed the rotation here based on our conversation, so I'm doing that. Let's go over to Gaza.
Let's not. I don't want to go to Gaza.
So Israel, apparently, they said, Gaza health officials said that including displaced people who were living in tents and were engulfed by fire. And Netanyahu is now saying, despite our utmost efforts not to harm innocent civilians last night, there was a tragic mistake. We're investigating the incident and will obtain a conclusion because it is our policy. Not buying it. Not buying it.
Here's a question I have. Does Israel not have the most sophisticated intelligence network in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, they do. Okay. Do they not have drones that are pinpointed that could hit within 6 inches of their target?
Yep.
Oh, they do. Do they not have boots on the ground in Gaza investigating every single place that they're going to attack? Yes. Are they not laser guided? Yes, they. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. So for them to say this is an accident, if they're going to really go with the accident theory on this, they should go with it was stray missiles that went completely out of control and ended up in the wrong area, right?
But it was the algorithm. Lewis, it was the algorithm.
Right, exactly. But try to say their intelligence was wrong. No, I'm not buying it, guys. No. And Netanyahu is a bad dude. He's a deep state. And it doesn't matter. You can support Israel all you want. But just understand that head of that snake is Netanyahu. And he's a bad, evil, deep state dude.
And believe me, the people of Israel know because they've been protesting for months now against him. So we support Israel. We support the people.
Why don't you see that on the news?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because we're all supposed to blindly support Israel. Mm-hmm. If you don't support Israel, you're anti-Semitic.
That's right.
Okay. So again, you're not supposed to have an opinion on certain things. We know this, right? Because my TikTok video on this went freaking viral and they took my account down. They didn't warn me. They took the account down. And all I did, Robert, you remember?
Yeah.
I just asked questions.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask questions? I didn't lay the blame on either side. In fact, it was about not being divided,
Yep.
unifying together and not being sucked into the black and white division. And they deleted my account. You cannot ask questions about Israel.
Yep.
That's the next step in this war, is penetrating the anti-Semitic bubble and being able to ask real questions about what's going on.
So JC last night, he's trying to interview Carrie Cassidy, and twice now things have happened to make it impossible to do that interview. So he had Janine pull cards and say, okay, what's going on here? You're going to love this, Lewis. He's too far ahead of the curve, just like we are. Right. And it's interesting because we talk about something and then the evening JC will talk about it. We're on a lot of times on the very much the same page, same topic, same ideas. And every time Phoebe has that on, I'm like, yeah, we talked about this today on our show. We talked about that. And it's like we're there. So he's getting the same thing we're assuming is happening, is that we're getting suppressed a little bit because we're ahead of the curve. We're putting information out there that maybe they're not ready for it to be out yet. We're kind of seeing through a lot of the narrative. Remember, the narrative is on both sides. It's not just on the other side. There's narrative on both sides, and both sides need that narrative to be able to pull off the psychological warfare that we're involved in here.
100% correct. Yeah. You can't trust the Palestinian side, by the way. I'm just saying, you can't trust the Israel side. Everything that you say good about Israel, if you're not on the Palestinian side, it's not even, it's Masons. Mm-hmm. They need us divided. This is the only way they can divert our attention when they're trying to take control, which is probably one of their last ditch efforts. They are so scared right now. We the people are coming together and we are crushing it. Probably a good time for our announcement of the announcement.
Well, this is why the Trump thing's coming up to a head, because they're very scared when they saw, what is it, close to 100,000 there in New Jersey, and then 30,000 in the Bronx. The Bronx, you don't get that many crowds there in the Bronx. They don't do that kind of thing. It really scares them that he's got such a groundswell. So they've got to do everything they can to push this through. And this judge that's trying this case, he's just a paid actor, is all he is. He's not making any decisions based on any kind of law, right? He's just being told. And De Niro this morning, the same thing. He actually said he was there to give a campaign speech. They paid him to give a campaign speech outside the courthouse. But he got his hat handed to him pretty good. A lot of people angry about him. It's all a show. It's like you just got to take it in and take a step back and realize, I don't need to be part of this. I could just be outside of it and be an observer and look at it that way. And I think you and I, Lewis, tend to be that way. We don't really get that excited about anything in either direction. Yeah, it's interesting, it's curious, but at the end of the day, we know there's a bigger picture here. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready for the announcement?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so folks, Thursday we're having a special show, same time, same bat channel. Oh, we must be doing it right because it says right now there's 666 people live. So we're doing it right now. By the way, part of what we're going to be doing is taking back our numbers. So on Thursday, we are going to announce what I without hyperbole believe will be the biggest game-changing thing. Let's just call it a thing for now so we don't give it away. That is going to be happening. It's bigger than our movie Watch the Water. It's disclosure on cages. It's bigger than all of the truth tours combined. It's bigger than this show. It's bigger. It's the biggest by far. And we will take our country back. And we, the people, will be 100% involved. I have no doubt that this is going to blow your mind and the power behind what we're going to do. Robert, Bruce, and I will be announcing it Thursday right here on this channel. I would be here.
There goes the first text already coming in. What is
Yeah,
it,
I
Rob?
know.
What is it, Rob? What does Lewis have up his sleeve?
I'm
I
just
ain't
saying,
telling you.
we're not telling. Trust me. You know how tight-lipped I've been on this one.
You would even
And
tell me until yesterday.
yep, exactly.
You
So
know,
it's very, very tight-lipped on this. When I say a handful, this is how many people know. Total.
your wife learned about it yesterday too. I hear.
Kind of. Kind of. She approved. She's known about it. She approved it yesterday.
Okay, it's got her
But
stamp of approval. I like that.
yes, but I'm telling you guys, this is humongous.
Yeah.
Think of the Unity project. This will be in company. This will be the grand, not finale, but the grand presentation of the Unity project. This is going to blow people away. When you see how we're going to handle this, we'll explain it on Thursday. And this is every man, child, woman can get behind this. And this is going to be huge. We will manifest it. I already see it. It will just absolutely be amazing.
When you take the division of politics away, miracles can happen. You know, and I think that's the thinking that we have going into this. So fantastic!
Yeah.
I can't wait. I will be here Thursday. I will plan.
I know you will.
It'll be fun.
It'll be awesome.
Anything else you want to say for right now, or is that enough tease?
No, that's too much, probably.
Okay. You don't want to show a little leg, or okay.
Exactly. Let me shave one leg.
Let me shave one leg. There you go. We reported on Red Lobster going into bankruptcy, and the story that we reported was that it was their all. Interesting. Well, turns out there may be more to that story. Watch this.
The media will never stop covering for hedge funds while making it seem like every problem is the fault of the American people. Like, I'd be willing to bet you think Red Lobster went into bankruptcy because of endless shrimp. You know, the endless shrimp promotion they had. Because that's what the media's told you. They've been telling you repeatedly that the reason Red Lobster went into bankruptcy was that they had the endless shrimp combo and the greedy American people just took advantage of it. That's not what happened. No, what happened was a hedge fund bought Red Lobster, and as a condition of the sale, they made them split up their land and their restaurants. Because up until that point, Red Lobster actually owned all of the land that their restaurants were located on. And then once they made them split that up, the hedge funds made the leases on that land so expensive that the Red Lobsters couldn't possibly continue to operate. So Red Lobster had to keep trying new things to try to make enough money to pay these leases. And it was never enough to be able to afford what the hedge fund wanted to charge them. So now they're going into bankruptcy. But the media is not talking about that. No, the media is saying that American greed and the American people were the problem. That Red Lobster made terrible marketing decisions and the American people took advantage of it. But make no mistake, the only reason Red Lobster is going into bankruptcy is because a hedge fund wanted them to go into bankruptcy. They wanted to put Red Lobster out of business so they could take the land that the Red Lobsters were on. Because Red Lobster has some amazing locations across the United States. And now the hedge fund is going to be able to sell off all the little pieces of Red Lobster, completely shutting them down and just have the land all to themselves. And look, I don't like that, but hedge funds are allowed to do that. Investors are allowed to fuck over another company. But what shouldn't be happening is the media being complicit and trying to hide that fact. And shit like that is why we created the MCU. Because it's not just the hedge funds, it's not just the government, it's also the media. Absolutely fucking nobody is on our side. Absolutely nobody is giving us the true facts, except for each other. And that's why we created the MCU, to be able to work together. But now we'll all just probably sit on TikTok and just bitch about it.
We're not bitching about it. Hey.
So I actually have a different take on this, but it will coincide with what he's saying. I believe this hedge fund stuff forced Red Lobster to make decisions that ended up bankrupting them. I do not believe the all-you-can-eat shrimp bankrupted them. No. Now this is gonna sound really weird, but I want people to pay attention to this. And my background's marketing, so I'm trying to give you a little bit of background on this, because I've consulted a lot, and I've consulted exactly against this. It wasn't the all-you-can-eat shrimp that was their demise in regards to their marketing and their profit. Okay, I agree the hedge funds had something to do with this, but it was the taking back stopping the all-you-can-eat program. Because what happens is, from a marketing standpoint, and Robert knows this really well, when you condition the market to get a discount, i.e. Groupon, and why so many businesses failed because of Groupon, thought Groupon was such a great idea, and they failed because people would wait for that heavy discount before they would do anything. So what happened is, when you market all you can eat shrimp, that if I consulted them, I would say, don't you dare. Or if you do it, it's got to be like a Christmas special or Thanksgiving or something like that. Don't you dare. If I was their consultant, I would say, don't you dare do all you, because what happens is you condition the market. And when you condition the market to want that discount or that savings, they will wait and wait and wait and wait for it. And they'll go someplace else. Even if they've been going to Red Lobster their whole life. Suddenly, they got the all-you-can-eat shrimp, and they're like, oh, cool, we love this. You take it away from them, that customer's not a lifetime customer. You lost that client right now. So that's a big part of now. Maybe the hedge funds force them into making really bad decisions. But again, I call it Grouponitis. And if you ever study businesses, there's so many businesses that use Groupon. If you don't know what Groupon is, it was like buy one, get one free type of deal, right? Or sometimes you get something for $19 that normally would cost $100, right? So they get a lot of volume. They think they got a lot of customers, but when you want to charge them the regular price, they're like, bye-bye. Nope. So you have to do this sparingly, and there's a way to do it. I actually helped a hairdresser I know out by having her give out free haircuts. But they understood, and it was explained, communicated, that this is an introductory offer. Also, we expect you to be a longtime customer. And it worked tremendously. I had restaurants all through Long Beach and other places giving out. In fact, I actually worked directly with Chick-fil-A when they were in Ventura County, directly. And they gave out free chicken sandwiches, and I was part of the marketing team. I created that whole program for them. Highly successful. But people understood this was introductory to introduce you to the business. An established business like Red Lobster to do this was a bad decision off the get. I didn't need to be an armchair quarterback to figure that out. So you can combine the hedge funds with this, but sometimes there's more to the story than we just think. And that's just my tech from a marketing standpoint.
Well, by and large, it was a Hail Mary play. I think they were trying to save their bacon. They're doing everything they can, and that's when companies tend to turn to Groupon. And like you said, you get that wave of business, but it's not repeat business because those are just the bargain hunters. They're the bottom feeders. The absolute customer you do not want is the bottom feeder. And that's what they attracted. They attracted a lot of bottom feeders. You're right. They don't come back. Once that special's gone, there's no point in them coming back because they're not going to be a regular customer. No. And of course, you mess up your regular customers too when you do that.
That's exactly right. And so that was part of the demise. Yeah. I don't disagree with the hedge fund theory, and he's right that the media will cover up for that for sure. But that may have pushed them into bad decision. But that decision was really bad, and it's because it's not sustainable if you keep it, and if you don't keep it, you lose your client base because they're waiting for it to come back again. I mean, either way, it was a lose-lose, and any marketer worth his salt would have actually consulted with them and said,
you have to look at the media. These are journalists. These are not marketing people. They don't understand business. They wouldn't even know what a hedge fund is if it hit them across the face, right? So how are they going to report on this kind of thing? They're going to take the easy road out. Oh, look, they screwed up. They gave away shrimp for free. That's the easy route. They're not going to dig further. They got the story. They can punch that story in, and they get paid for it, and they move on to something else. We have to recognize we're trying to hold journalists on a high standard, but they don't know a lot about anything other than their craft, right? They're not experts in food. They're not experts in business or marketing or anything that they're reporting on. They're simply reporting on it. Now, I make a decision. Sometimes there are stories I'd like to report on, but I'm not an expert. And I feel like, you know what, I could talk about this, but not an educated level, so I won't cover it. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. There are journalists that won't do that. They'll just like, oh, whatever it is, let's put it out there because they get paid for the story. They're going to put it up. So we play the game a little bit differently, Lewis and I. We have to have some background in it at least so we can talk about it. And business is one thing that we both have a lot of experience in. Are you ready for a cup of coffee? I think I could use a cup of coffee. It'll pick me up this afternoon. How's that?
It's the best smelling coffee on earth. I'll say that.
Yep. Yeah, you're not a coffee drinker, but I know somebody in your family who is and who loves the coffee from Lance's company, Ascent Nutrition.
Every morning.
Every
I'm going to
morning.
tell you her secret too. You ready?
Yeah.
Because she's she works out a lot. She's this beautiful wife of mine. It's really, really into her fitness. She'll drag me out of bed. Come on, we're gonna work out. You said so. I'm like, okay. So anyway, she does a phenomenal job, and I'll tell you her little secret. Every morning, she Lance's coffee, the dark roast, with a little bit of heavy cream because it's only like 50 calories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she adds in a protein mix that you can't really taste. So she gets her protein at the same time. She's a lot smarter than me, so she figures this stuff out. She loves that regimen every single day. In fact, if she's not doing it, it's a bad day for me.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah, Lance's coffee is very clean, mycotoxin free. It is also free of mold. Mold is something that is very common in coffees, apparently. And he's very, very particular about the coffee when it comes in. They're testing it to make sure it is up to snuff. He gets it from Guatemala, where apparently he knows the family who farms it and grows it. So it's not like it's coming from here, there, and everywhere. If you look at some of the coffees you get in the supermarket, they're not single origin. They're origin a little bit here, a little bit there, wherever they get the best price, and they just stick on the label. It's like, it could be this, it could be that. You don't really know what you're getting. Here you do. And he's got medium and dark roast, and you can get whole bean or ground, your choice. Just go visit sbgascent.com, sbgascent.com. And we thank Lance for supporting our show. And we are big fans of all the products he has on his website. We're going to have him back in about a week or so. And he's going to tell us a little bit more about some of the other products that he's got, because a lot of good stuff there.
Yep. Big things to come with Ascent, too.
Yep. No question. All right. Well, America's transforming in a weird kind of way, and I did see this for myself right here in California. Look at this video. New homes for rent.
Whoa.
So that's up in Palm Springs area, but they also have them down here in Temecula. I saw that same company putting up a whole development of homes, tract homes. You can't buy them. You can only rent them.
And okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it. That company that's doing that is disgusting, because they're purely going with the market right now. So what happens is inventory is low now because people they can sell their home and maybe get a good rate for it, but they can't go buy another home because the interest rates are so freaking high. Right. So homes just aren't selling. So the inventory, as they call it's not moving right now. And that in turn, with inflation, which we know is going on, affects the rental rates tremendously. So currently the rents are through the freaking roof.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So these
I think Lewis is frozen on both computers. Interesting. Anyway, to continue on the story, we'll see if Lewis can reconnect with us. It is kind of interesting that they're putting up new homes, and instead of selling them, they're renting them, because the rental market's through the roof. As Lewis was saying, the rental prices are really, really high. So they're taking advantage of it. Instead of selling the house outright and making the profit one time, they're going to make the profit every month for as long as they possibly can. They're going to keep it going that way. Kind of find that interesting. That's the way it's laying out our society. It's kind of strange that that's what they're doing, but that is what they're doing. And there's Lewis disconnected. We'll see he'll reconnect in a moment, I'm sure. We'll bring him back in as soon as I see him in the back end here, the backstage part of it. Our next story, and that's not him, that's me. Okay. Our next story here is China is reportedly preparing a large military fleet to invade Taiwan. Expert predicts invasion could conclude within an hour. So this is interesting because we've been hearing about this for a long time, that, China's going to go in, they're going to take over Taiwan. And apparently the way they're doing it, they have been making significant preparations for a full-scale invasion of Taiwan, according to the Telegraph. This preparation includes not only military vessels, but also an unusual incorporation of civilian ferries, hinting at a large-scale invasion strategy. Now the Telegraph is reporting that China is reportedly preparing an armada of ferries and civilian vessels for a potential Taiwan invasion. Now what they're saying here is because of the way they're preparing for it, the invasion could take about an hour. I don't know if that's true, but that's what this story is purporting, that this, it's going to take an hour for them to take it over. I don't know. If you read Fulford, he says it will be amicable. There won't be a war. There won't be a battle. It'll just be easy. They'll come in, sign a few papers, and, Taiwan will be reunified with China. So is this a lot of saber rattling? Is it just for the media? We don't know. It's worth keeping an eye on because a lot of the chips in our computers come from Taiwan. China takes that over and they decide, hey, we're not exporting to the United States anymore. We're going to be in a little bit of trouble here. You're not going to get a new iPhone for 5 years. You're not going to get a new car. You're not going to get a new computer. You're not going to get, there's a lot of things that would go south if we couldn't get those parts, those chips from Taiwan. So we got to keep an eye on this. This is kind of interesting to see what's going on. And let's see here. Lewis is texting me. He's saying, what now?
I'm here.
No, computer froze. That's what happened. All right.
I'm here.
You're here. Let me put you back into the system because the system doesn't recognize when you leave and come back for some reason. There we go. Lewis is back. So we're talking Taiwan. Going to be taken over by China, and then the story says it will take about an hour for them to take over Taiwan.
Don't know if they're going to take over Taiwan. If they do, that's part of the movie, I believe. Yes, I would agree that it would be very, very quick, because unlike some militaries, they're not going to be politically correct when they take care of business. Yeah. By the way, which is the best way to take care of something. The faster you can get it done, the less collateral damage that there is, even if it's harsh when you do it. Do I agree with them going in there? No, absolutely not. I think Taiwan needs to be sovereign. In regards to the chips, I can tell you, without telling you too much, and I don't like to keep things hidden, I can just say I have firsthand knowledge that within the last 8 to 10 years, American companies have known this is a possibility, and they have been developing chips internally. I can actually tell you, in my town, I know of a chip builder, huge, right? Mm-hmm. And they're doing it externally already. Yeah. So they already have plans. There would be an interruption in the market, kind of similar what you saw with the cars a couple of years ago. But we should be able to not seamlessly, but make that transition without as much scare as it looks like there will be. That's all I can say about that. And I don't like to be evasive, but I've had some people tell me some things that I know are supposed to be fairly confidential. Yeah.
Well, we were mentioning too that Fulford believes that the reunification is going to be amicable, and they're just going to sign.
Did Fulford say it?
Fulford said it. So
okay, not Fulford, but that means it's still overblown a little bit.
Yeah. So that's what it is. Is it just show? Is it just saber rattling? We don't know, right?
Yeah, I don't know either. I'd be more concerned about Taiwan than the chips. That's all I would say. Yeah, and the people. Although there's been a lot of video coming out of China lately. A lot of positive video coming out. I know, don't freak out, people. I'm sorry I said that, but there's been a lot of positive video coming out of China lately. Like some good things are kind of happening over there. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just the fact that some of these videos would come out, I find to be very, very interesting, because that at one time was completely state controlled. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. And I know somebody that just went there and got back, and she says it's a whole different thing. She goes, there's these communities are booming, and everybody's happy. A lot of people are making money. She goes, Koreans of all people are immigrating into China to start businesses because they have more business acumen than the indigenous Chinese people do themselves.
Wow.
So a lot of the business owners are Korean, and they're able to travel back and forth. She says they're not getting stopped. The government's not stealing their money from them. So I don't know what stories to believe, right? There's kind of two different stories.
Yep.
You know, we have the bad China. Now we know there's the CCP. Maybe the good guys have done something. I don't know. I at this point we really don't know. And I don't like to be an anti-propagandist, but I'm just saying, I'm hearing from people that just traveled to China and came back. They're like shocked at the way things are right now. So, and I ask, all those hard questions too. Are they suppressing your speech? Are they doing the social credit scores? She goes, not in the area that I was in. None of that exists.
Yeah.
So
well, this just goes back to our lazy media, right? So we're not getting full stories. They're reporting narrative, and a lot of it you just got to shake your head at, and it's like you don't know what's real. Like we're all in that situation too, and it's creating a lot of angst, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of fear. I get it, and it's like, well, the question is, then how do you stay out of that? How do you keep well balanced, right, through it all? Because it's not an easy thing, and we have never been taught. We go through school, we go through everything. I always laugh because you think about high school, and it's like, okay, you went through high school, you went through college. We are, as human beings, emotional creatures before anything. How much did you learn about handling your emotions in high school? That would be zero, right?
Zero zilch.
Zero zilch. So if you don't know how to manage that, you don't know how to manage your thoughts, you don't know how to manage your mind, then you're susceptible. You're playing on this roller coaster. It's an emotional roller coaster. And it's kind of crazy to think that we haven't been trained, but, as an adult, well, now it's your responsibility because you were not going to get it in high school. And that brings me to telling you about my little program I've got coming up. I'm calling Break Free of the Matrix, and you can go to renegademedia.tv/matrix, and that is the kind of thing I'm going to be teaching you. It's a 2-day event, June 14, June 15, all day, both days, and it's a virtual event, so there's no travel, no hotels, no cold hotel room, conference room. You sit wherever you're comfortable, and we're going to go through this. We're going to do some exercises, and we're going to do some manifesting in a very unique way. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want to find out more, renegademedia.tv/matrix is where you would go for that.
That is so exciting,
Yep.
Robert.
I am
Congratulations on that.
I've been working day and night for the past 4 or 5 days on the content, and it's like, I think I got too much. But it's okay. I'd rather over-deliver,
That's awesome.
Well, there's a story that came out, or video that I saw today that, remember we said last summer, the one thing we're not going to drop is the Maui story.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a fellow here. I'm not going to play the whole video. I think it's like 9 minutes or something, but I'll put it up on Renegade Media on Telegram. I'll play the first few minutes of it, and I want to get your reaction to, we'll just play a couple of minutes.
Well, the fact that you're playing it all, Robert.
Sorry.
Aloha.
Okay, I'll turn it off. Yep.
The fact that you're playing it all means your middle name must be Integrity, because you're sticking to your guns on what we said last summer. So
Yeah.
This is Robert Integrity Imbrayali. We're living up to what we talked about, and thank you for being a pioneer. You've been one of the biggest advocates to exposing what happened in Maui. If you guys remember when it started happening, Robert and I were all over it.
Yep.
And continued
Yeah.
way after everybody dropped off. So thank you for continuing.
Yeah, I think it's a story that's worth telling. I know the media has dropped it a long time ago. None of it makes any sense. It's clearly not what they've told us. So we'll just watch this. Nothing around it.
All right.
Did every
Thank you
tree
for
get hit by
playing-
lightning?
I'm going to take it to a whole another level. We've talked about, based on the way the energy was displaced along Lahaina and how people were burning up and running into the ocean, so on and so forth, there was probably some form of an additive, like an aluminum oxide or something like this. Guys, study nano-oxides, because the nano-aluminum oxide can be absorbed through the water. If this stuff was sprayed ahead of time the nano oxides would go through traditionally inside of the tree trunks and through the root system. And nobody's talking about this. It's only because this is something that interests me. I wanted to look into. Back in the day, I looked into aluminum oxide and how it could have been something, a material that could have been used during this. There's something, you look in deeper, it's called nano oxides, which they have. So imagine those trees absorbing that. That's an accelerant. So and then that will easily burn out the inside of all this stuff, right? So I would hope that the people on the ground, they might not know that, but if you can get this information to them, they can start doing some testing. And I would not doubt that they're going to find some type of aluminum oxide type materials or chemicals in there, right? By the way, to prove, in my opinion, how bad aluminum oxide is, Google now on 3 or 4 of the first posts talk about how great aluminum oxide is for our health.
Wow.
So this was something that we need to look at huge. So I love the fact that you brought this video up. I would just add to it and say maybe, just maybe, what could have added to this is when there's something like that type of oxide material, a nano oxide inside the trunk and the root systems, that's just going to go. I mean, that's a big time accelerant, and they're smart enough and have the technology to pull that off. So I would not doubt that's part of it.
Well, you notice he didn't say laser weapons. He said specifically plasma weapons, right?
Right.
So that was interesting because we've been talking about, it was just lasers, and that's why the blue laser, the blue color didn't get impacted because of that. And now he's talking about, no, this is plasma. This is a different, and he's equating lightning with a plasma weapon, doing the same kind of thing, where all the energy comes down through the tree and it burns it from the base up. Something. Well, this is interesting. There's a lot more here, and we know the aluminum oxide was in the air. People were saying that 2 days prior to the fire, the air was heavy with it. They couldn't breathe it.
That's the point. So imagine if it was actually being sprayed months before and had an opportunity to go into the root system.
Yeah.
I think that's not too far-fetched of a theory that I have here. Also, if anybody's ever sat by a campfire, the wet wood is hard to burn.
Yeah.
Right? So you add something like an aluminum oxide inside of that, suddenly it goes from next to impossible to burn to being an accelerant. Just saying.
Yeah, I'll put that video up on, it's like 12 minutes. I'll put that up on Renegade Media after we're done here today, so you guys can go see it on Telegram. You want to watch the whole thing, and yeah, it's quite interesting to see, when they're actually being able to get in there now and see, and of course they can't. So you're going to have something that you're going to be able to see. So it's good that they're doing this community investigative reporting, which I think is where we need to go, because you can't rely on mainstream or professional media anymore, clearly, right? So this is really good to see the citizens doing this. What's going on in China? Look what they created. An army of dog robots. I wonder what they have planned, Lewis. What are they thinking about there, huh?
That's scary. They're headless dogs too.
Headless dogs, yeah.
That's a trip.
There's another video with
Well, hey, the good news is with our woke politics, I can now bring that as a support pet on a plane. So we're all good to go.
We're all good to go. Exactly. Oh, brother. All right. So we're looking forward to Thursday. Thursday is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to do something different on Friday at a different time than our show. So I'll announce that as soon as I have the details for you. But it's something coming up on Friday that's going to be a little bit different for you. And Lewis, we're back tomorrow. We're going to do, I suppose, the regular news show that we normally do on Wednesdays, right?
Yes, sir.
And Thursday will be the big reveal. We're going to call it the big reveal. We're going to have Lisa do something very special.
We will. The
like
big
drum
reveal,
roll and the whole thing, right?
Yes.
Lots of pomp, lots of circumstance, because that's what we like. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up for the day, or we're good?
I am good to go.
You are good to go, and so am I. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for liking, following, and telling your friends about us. That helps us